I can never tell. I don't know what is going on. Alright, fuck. Just recorded a whole goddamn video um, talking about these goddamn polls, but I guess I could do it again. Okay, starting from the top. So this is going to be poll time with me. I'm your host, Poll Man, Poll Man Dan. You can call me Poll Man Dan. So what are we talking about here? Okay, let's get serious. I'm just pissed, guys. I'm just pissed. I'm just pissed because I'm just learning how to use this screen recording feature, and you can tell I'm improvising. I'm improvising. I got the photo booth open so you can see my face a little bit because I know you want to see my face to make it more personal and whatnot. So yeah, there's me in the corner here. Here, I was reading up on the Chinese language, because I do that. And now let's get into the serious shit. So this is going to be poll time. Not set on the name yet, so we'll call it poll time with Brandon. And I want us to get educated using this poll that I love, this polling database, Real Clear Politics. So shout out to Real Clear Politics. So this is what I use. This is what I look at when I'm kind of trying to get a gist for what's going on. I followed this website all the way through the 2016 election, starting back in like 2015. I started following it, and it was pretty spot on. It kind of gave a nice idea, since it's an average of all the polls, and it's not just one like random poll out in the ether. I like it because I think that averaging gives you a much better idea of what's really going on. So, for example, you could just take this one poll, the Political Morning Consult poll, and they have Biden still at plus 11. Meanwhile, the Economist-YouGov has Warren at plus 6. So somehow there's a 17-point discrepancy between a poll taken at the exact goddamn time, where Warren is blowing out the competition in this one, and then Biden's blowing out the competition in this one. So that doesn't make any sense. But if you average them all together, you kind of get a gist. Like, okay, Biden still maintains only a 1.7 point lead. That's how interesting. So let's do a little bit of history. So, all the way back yonder time, April 6th, April 7th. I think Bernie had already announced he was running. He announced kind of early. And at this point, here I am. At this point, Bernie had maintained, of course, his popularity from the last election. His message resonated with young people, and he really stood out as a candidate that was genuine and actually fighting for the people. And that stood out to me from the moment I saw him and heard his message. I said, "Holy shit! Finally, like this is this is what we've been waiting for like forever, I guess." I mean, I remember growing up and watching the Republican versus Democrat debates and thinking to myself, "Oh, I don't know why anyone would vote for the Republicans over the Democrats. I can't see why the Democrats are bad." Well, that was before I realized that both parties were taking corporate money, and both parties were sleazy, and maybe even the Democrats even more, or probably even sleazier in some ways. Not that they're a worse party, but sleazier because they present themselves as the solution so frequently and so often and so ardently, but in reality they're taking just as much corporate money, just slightly less corporate money, and not doing what they should be doing, not representing the goddamn people. So once I realized that was crystal clear to me why people hated the Democrats, and I started feeling the same sentiment. But this guy Bernie Sanders came along, and he presented himself as the actual real idea of what a Democratic candidate should be, and he had the ideas that they should fight for, and the fact that he wasn't taking any corporate money led you to believe, oh, holy shit, this guy's actually legit. He's not beholden to any donors. He's going to do what he says. So for me, that was crystal clear. That's why he's the candidate to beat. But for some reason, some people still don't quite get that. So that's what I want to try to talk about and try to convince people to see, because that's the most obvious point to me. That's the main reason to vote for this guy. But there's a lot more debate to be had, and so we shall see. But okay, Biden, on the other hand, hadn't yet announced he was running, and they were still polling people with the idea that, okay, maybe if Biden does run, would you vote for him? And at that point, Biden had about a 10-point lead. The fact of the matter is that Biden maintains kind of meme status. I kind of call him a meme candidate because he was obviously Barack Obama's president, and he was Uncle Joe, and he's the cool guy, and he's got name recognition. And during the 2016 election, people kept thinking, oh, what if Joe Biden was running? Don't you think he'd be doing so well? Oh, this would be so cool. I want Joe to run. He's so cool. He's so good. The reality is he is just as corporate, if not more corporate, than Hillary Clinton. And if he were to actually win this nomination, it would be a terrific disaster, and we would just see the same thing repeat itself over again, and what a nightmare that would be. But he maintains this status because, being that it's so early in the conversation, you call people up. Oh, where'd you go? You call people up, you have them do a snap poll, you do a poll online. People aren't really thinking about politics yet. You say, oh, who would you vote for? Give them the chance. Bernie, Biden, Warren, blah, blah, blah. People are like, oh, I haven't really paid attention, but I've heard Biden's name. I think he's cool. I think he's all right. I would vote for him. I would vote for Joe Biden. I don't really know why, but I like no reasons, no substance, whatever. I like the idea of Joe Biden. Sure, I'll vote for Joe Biden. And this was even before he had announced he was running yet. All of a sudden, he announces, and boom, he shoots up. He gets this initial polling bump. Which is more of just a hype thing. He isn't really this popular. Especially because people don't know what his actual ideas are. It's just a name. It's plain name recognition, and it's plain meme status. He's a meme candidate. That's all he is. And you could see that as we start to follow along, as the months start to tick away, his popularity wanes, and it dips. And it dips. As more and more people start to join into the conversation, they start paying attention, they say, holy shit, this dude sucks. This dude sucks. Which is true. He's so bad. He's so bad. And he's such a joke of a candidate. I actually can't wait to see this green line dip all the way down to like this 10% mark. Or this 15%. I don't think he'll ever, because there's such Obama loyalists out there, and there is of course always that portion of the population that does not think. They don't. There's a type of human being that does not have the apparatus in their brain to create thoughts. This is a true fact. To create rational thoughts, to analyze things. People don't have this, and so they'll just hold on to Biden for God knows whatever reason. He makes them feel happy, and he makes them feel happy, and it's fine as long as there's less of them with those kinds of feelings to add to the political debate. That's fine. Whatever. Let them think what they want. I wish you would look at the actual issues and try to make a informed decision, but we can't have our cake and eat it too. Always. Anyway, we also had, early on in the conversation, Kamala Harris kind of had her 15 minutes of fame. Pete Buttigieg had had his like 2 seconds of fame, where he was polling about the same as Warren. And as you can see, I mean, Warren was polling kind of low too at that 8.8%, and Buttigieg as well at 8.3%. Warren then took the fucking reins and shot up to, well, where she is now. She's about to overtake Biden, who, actually, if you look at it, it's kind of fucking amazing. I mean, Biden was at 41% at his most, and Warren was at 8%. That's a 33-point lead he had over her. And she's surmounted that over the span of like 4 or 5 months. It's fucking incredible. But it also goes to show that these races are never set in stone. this, Elizabeth Warren, who had some recognition, was popular, third most popular, but polling, among the rest of the lot, somehow manages to shoot up, and she's almost in the lead now, which is incredible. But also goes to show that for this exact reason, for the same reason, Bernie is nowhere near out of this race, and that's what I want to talk about, especially because I'm sick of the narrative, especially in mainstream media, that these people are looking for any excuse they can find to count Bernie out of the race. And the news just came out today that he had a stent put in his heart and he's having heart trouble. And I guarantee you they're going to run that story into the goddamn ground, because they'll do anything to put this man's name down. Why? Because he actually is going to fight for the people, and that's going to cut into corporate profits, and that's going to hurt the media industry and the status quo system that they have set up. So Bernie's bad for business. They'll do anything they can to keep him down and to support anyone they can that gives them a hint of keeping the status quo. Hence all the support and all of the praise and crying about Elizabeth Warren. So it's super important to pay attention to these things. Why is the media in love with Elizabeth Warren all of a sudden? Well, because maybe she's not as progressive as she presents herself to be. Ooh, interesting. As a matter of fact, it's really not that close anymore between her and Bernie. I mean, there's a point in time where you would hear both of their arguments and you'd be hard-pressed to find a difference. There might have been a time where you think, oh, she's as progressive. She sounds maybe even more progressive than Bernie. Wow. Same healthcare bill, going after the big bangs, infrastructure, foreign policy, all lining up pretty nicely. But what's the difference? She's taking corporate money. What a surprise. And just to prove it, you can... I'm not going to prove it, because we don't prove shit on this channel. I'm just here to talk to you about what I think. This is just what I think. But you can look it up. Elizabeth Warren takes corporate money. And even worse, she's kind of sleazy about it. She lies about it. So she actually was raising corporate money for her Senate bid in 2016. And then she said, oh, I'm not going to take any corporate money during the primary. But what she did was then divert excess money that she had from the Senate bid, and she put it into her campaign for the primary bid. So in effect, she is taking corporate money for her primary. And then she said in an interview on the Young Turks, yeah, I'm not taking big money, I'm not taking corporate money during the primaries, but once the general election comes along, then I'll have to play ball and I'll have to take corporate money. So she's kind of a sellout. I mean, if at best she's half of what Bernie's getting. Maybe she's taking half as much corporate money, but she's still taking corporate money. So at a time like this, where we need the candidate who's going to push as hard as fucking possible, because we have so many disastrous things going on, people dying every year because they don't have access to healthcare, and needing to make a full push towards clean energy. If she's taking money from corporations, there's something holding her back. It's like she's got a fucking chain tied around her back, and these corporations are tugging on her like, hey, don't you dare move that far to the left. And we can't afford it right now. We just can't afford it. We really can't afford it. We need to go, especially since Trump got elected and we put the gas pedal on in the fucking exact wrong direction. Now we got to put the gas pedal on in the exact opposite direction. And she's at best like, a Sunday drive in the correct direction. So no, we need somebody that is going to go full steam ahead in the correct direction. And for me, in my opinion, that's the guy that has all the right ideas, is passionate, understands people's pain, and is not taking any corporate money, and is not beholden to donors, whose ideas he's going to be able to push for and actually try to manifest in real life. Not just talk about, not just explain that are good ideas. He's going to actually try to do them. And you know that more so than the other candidates because of that very fact that he's not taking any corporate money. That's the most important thing. The system is broken because people take money, and money corrupts, and we know that.